Most people think building wealth is complicated, that you need to be smart, lucky, or already rich to start. That's not true. In reality, wealth is built by following a few simple steps consistently for a long period of time. And today, I'm going to give you a clear step by step checklist that anyone can follow, even if you're starting from zero. If you follow this, your financial life will change, period. All right, so let's set up how this will work and explain what this is and what it's not. This is not a get rich quick scheme. This is not going to happen overnight. This is simply how normal people quietly become wealthy over time. There's, no fancy day trading, there's no gambling, no lottery tickets, and no guessing. This is just a system that works if you're consistent with it, and it's worked for millions and millions of people, and it'll continue working for millions and millions of people. All right, so step one. This is very straightforward. Know your numbers. This is something you've probably heard before, but I'm going to lay it out in a very exact, matter of fact manner, and hopefully this makes sense. And it's something that you can do right now, today. I mean, this could be done in less than 30 minutes, and if you put a little time and effort into it, it's going to pay off for years to come. This is also personally what I started with years and years and years ago. So you need to understand your money. So what I mean by that is look at setting up I prefer Google Sheets, a Google Sheet budget. So there's pre-made templates out there. You can make your own, which is typically what I do, but it's super straightforward. You just want to understand your monthly expenses and your income. So say you make 2,500 from your job after taxes each month. So that's going to go in the income bracket. And then you need to start to lay out your expenses. So maybe you have mortgage or rent. That's typically your number one expense. That is going to go on the Google Sheet or in your budget, wherever app or place you decide to put it. So you'll have your income at 2,500, and then you're going to start going through the expense column. Rent or mortgage, let's say it's 1,000, 2,000, whatever it might be. Calculate your monthly food costs, DoorDash, all of that stuff, subscriptions, and then you just go down the list. So what you want when you finish this is a all-inclusive understanding of, are you in the red or are you in the green? I mean, do you have money left over at the end of each month? And if so, how much? Is it $300 after you pay all of your bills and expenses? Is it $500? Where are you overspending? Where could you make cuts? So this is super straightforward. I've done this for tons of friends and family over the years. You need to understand what you're pulling in and what you're spending, and then you might be able to make some educated cuts, or maybe there's no need for adjustments at this time, right? Maybe it's just a matter of understanding where you're at. So what's left over? Are you in the red or the green? That's the most important part. That's what you want to ask yourself. Where's your biggest expense? It should be your mortgage or your rent. Is it something else? That would be a red flag. We need to look into that. Where is your money actually going on a monthly basis? Most people don't have a money problem. They have an awareness problem. They don't even know what they're spending, right? So even if you're earning a low income, you need to master that. You need to absolutely understand where every dollar is going. So get an understanding of that, set it up, and then you're going to want to come back every month, check in with yourself or your family, and adjust that accordingly. Look at your rent, your mortgage, your food, your subscriptions, debt payments, credit cards, everything. You cannot improve what you don't measure, period. Okay, step two. So you have the monthly budget set up. That's step one. We have that created. We know how it works. It's as accurate as possible, rather. Step two is going to be cut the fat. So I talked a little bit about this in the last segment, but just to really dial this in and be clear, once you have the monthly budget set up, it's accurate, you know how it works. Now you want to try to trim out the fat. So optimize the numbers and your spending. That doesn't mean, living like a monk, not spending any money on subscriptions or food or DoorDash. You might be able to trim some of that. I've looked at monthly budget sheets for people before and thought, oh my God, How are you one person spending, $800 on DoorDash and groceries a month? That's insane, right? So you might have something like that. But I don't mean you have to live super frugally. You just need to be intentional with your money and make good decisions, right? So it might be, oh, I have a useless subscription to Amazon Prime Video or Hulu, but I almost exclusively watch Netflix. Boom, cut out, XYZ, $15, $20 a month there, or cut $300 off the eating out DoorDash restaurant budget. I didn't know I was spending so much. I mean, look at your bank account. You can absolutely get the hard data on this, and you'll know where you can optimize this and make cuts. So the point is, you're still going to have to spend money, be intentional about it, make good decisions, cancel the useless subscriptions that you're not actually using and that are just reoccurring each month. You want to reduce the impulse spending, and again, be intentional, know where your money is going. Your goal here is simple once you have the budget set up and you understand are you in the red or are you in the green. You want to create margin. So even an extra $200 to $300 per month can completely change your future if allocated properly. That's the point. Okay, step number 3. And you've probably heard me talk about this before in other videos. Build a 6-month emergency fund. This is going to be your foundation. Before investing, before anything else, you need protection and peace of mind. So a 6-month emergency fund is 3 to 6 months of expenses. So obviously the goal is to get to that 6-month mark. You're going to have to start somewhere if you don't already have this complete. I think it's easy to benchmark at 3 months and then obviously continue to build that and grow through wise decisions until you get 6 months of expenses saved up. And guess what? If you followed the other steps and you understand your monthly budget and you've cut the fat out of that, now you actually understand what 6 months of expenses is. You have it added up. Just multiply it. Multiply your monthly expenses times 3 and then times 6. You actually know the numbers. You're not guessing. So if something were to happen to you, you have the numbers down and you know that you have that security and peace of mind. I don't have to scramble to get another job if I lose my job. There's an unexpected expense or medical bill. You can sleep soundly at night. You have done the work. You've put in the hours and the math, and you're adequately prepared. You have the 6-month emergency fund. That's key. Without the 6-month emergency fund, you shouldn't be doing anything else, right? Start with the budget, understand it, visit it each month, update it, make sure it's as accurate as possible. Step 2, optimize your spending, trim the fat, cut out useless subscriptions, understand if you're overspending, make adjustments. Step 3, build the 3, and then ultimately 6-month emergency fund so you have the protection, the peace of mind. I think this is super important. I, didn't come from a lot of money. I recently lost my job and I had this massive safety net and war chest and emergency fund saved up, and it made a huge difference. I'm not scrambling. It really gives you the space you need to grow and move towards the next steps, which we'll talk about soon. So without this, one bad week or month is going to destroy years of progress. It's not just money. This is stress reduction. Okay, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you're a returning viewer, thank you. I genuinely appreciate the support. And if you're new, thanks so much for stopping by to learn something of value. If you could please do me a favor and like the video, subscribe, and comment for more interesting content, that would be greatly appreciated. We're going to continue to cover all the essential must-know topics around personal finance, investing, and wealth creation. All right, so step 4. What's next? Eliminate high-interest debt. If you have credit card debt, this is going to be priority number 1 after knocking out the other items on our list. You might know what I'm talking about. Credit card debt is typically extremely high interest, so you have to pay it back rather quickly, or it's going to build up and snowball exponentially, and this time it's not going to be in your favor. It's going to mathematically destroy your wealth, and it's something that needs attention and care. Paying off debt is a guaranteed return, especially high interest debt, right? That's really eating into your savings, your cash flow. And if you have a ton of credit card debt, you're not exactly in the position to be investing, right? So we have to knock this out, get rid of it, and move back towards wealth creation once we have the other items knocked off. So the way you want to do this is target the highest interest rate first. So that's just the highest number, obviously. And then kind of move down from there. So you've knocked out the highest interest rate debt first, and then start moving towards the smallest interest rate debt. You don't build wealth while drowning, hence making sure you tackle your high interest credit card debt. And if you don't have any high interest credit card debt, if you are consistently, let's say you have a credit card, you use it to pay certain bills or things that pop up throughout the month, and you pay it off on a monthly basis, that's perfect. Like, you pay off the full total statement balance on a monthly basis. That's awesome. You're building your credit score. You're on the right track. That's how you want to be living, right? So it's not that debt is evil. Debt is a tool that can be used for good if handled properly. So make sure if you have any out of control high interest debt, you're knocking that out, you're paying attention to it, you're paying off the highest interest rates first, and then you're moving down to the point where you pay off your full credit card balance each month and you don't carry a balance over. Okay, if you've made it this far, congrats. This is the exciting part. We're going to talk about step 5, which is automate investing. This is actually where the growth and the magic happens, so to speak. Your foundation is set, and now you're ready to start actually building wealth. So I've referenced this, probably 100 times already in all of my videos and shorts, but this is a very straightforward and simple strategy. We're going to invest weekly or monthly using the dollar cost averaging methodology, which I've talked about in my other videos and you can go reference and look at. We're going to invest that money on a regular basis. And again, this is after we have all the other stuff set up, the emergency fund, etc. We have our high interest credit card debt paid off. We're in a good position. We understand our monthly budget. Now we're ready to invest using dollar cost averaging on a regular basis, whether it's weekly or monthly. So say we have $300 set up to auto deposit into our brokerage account. Doesn't matter what brokerage account it's with, whether it's TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab, Robinhood, whatever, right? Those are just platforms that allow you to invest. Once you have that set up and you have the automated deposit, you're going to take that money and invest it in a low-cost index fund that's diversified, something that tracks the S&P 500. You can find resources and specific ones online. Remember, the key kind of teachable moments here are we're not picking stocks, okay? We're not gambling. We're not timing the market. We're just being consistent. It's like going to the gym 4 days a week. It will pay off. It's a matter of certainty. It's not if, it's when, and it's going to happen. Timing the market beats timing the market. So I've talked about numerous examples in my other videos, but remember, if you invest, $100, $200, $300 per week over decades, you will become a millionaire. Remember, look at the other videos I've made, the dollar cost averaging ones. There's tons of resources. Set it up so it happens automatically, the deposit, because the less you think about it, the more consistent you're going to be. Okay, let's jump into step 6. If you followed all these steps to a T, you are in a really good position right now. And if you can comfortably handle all of that and you're contributing to your investment account and you have your monthly budget sheet and it's accurate and you have your emergency fund and you've paid off your debt and you're killing it on the credit card front and you have a good credit score, that would all be perfect, right? That puts you in a very good position. Step 6 is how do we enhance that position? How do we retire even faster? How do we build our investments quicker? How do we get even more leverage, right? So step 6 is increase your income. Obviously, there's a limit to how much you can cut, but there's no limit to how much you can earn. This is all about looking for the next opportunity to grow your wealth, right? There's all sorts of different ways to do this, and there's a million people that have videos on this, but I just want to put the idea out there and make sure that this is a part of your wealth creation list or journey. There's many ways to increase how much you earn. Maybe it's asking for a raise. It sounds simple. A lot of people don't do that. Every single year, if you're putting out quality work and you work at a company, you should be asking for a raise every single year. There's tons of guides online to get into the specifics, but if you've been doing a good job, you should be rewarded for that. Ask for a raise. Propose that to your employer, to your boss. Another idea. I'm not going to say step 2. Another idea. Switch jobs. So I've made the largest, if you're in the position to do this and you followed the list, you have your emergency fund, you're in a good spot. I've made the biggest income increases personally by switching jobs. So the research shows that you typically increase your income fastest by actually switching jobs. Now, if you have a great job, you're earning good money, you're happy where you're at, don't do this, obviously, right? This this advice isn't going to apply to everyone. There's many ways to increase your income, but switching jobs is a great way to make a big pay jump and contribute even more to your investments and to put you in a better spot. Again, these are just ideas. There's a million different ways to do this specifically to increase your income, and that is one tactic. If you're in a good spot, don't worry about that, right? Another idea is to learn high income skills. There's all sorts of different skills out there. Obviously, AI is trending and all anyone can talk about, but it has unlocked a lot of different resources for people to learn new skills, coding, AI prompting, all sorts of different things that you can do in your free time to increase your value to an employer or just to invest in yourself. Last idea would be a side income. So something like YouTube, like what I'm doing, or maybe you're a really good carpenter, you have really good, some really cool hard skill, or you're big into the trades, plumbing. There's all sorts of different things, right, guys? You can start to slowly build a side income or a side hustle, as people call it, while you're working a regular job, depending on the type of job you work. The point is, there's all sorts of opportunities out there to increase your income. Don't put a limit on yourself. Make sure you're looking into that, you're investing into yourself. And just remember that wealth is built faster on offense than defense. People who are actively thinking about improving these areas are much more likely to improve them. It's not just going to fall into your lap. All right, step 7, stay consistent. It sounds really easy to say that, but this needs to be a pivotal part of your plan, because this is the one that a lot of people skip over, but it's extremely important. Nothing else is going to happen. Nothing else is going to work. Nothing on this list is going to happen if you don't stay consistent. Doing this for 1 month, everything I talked about, is not going to change your life. Doing it for 10 to 20 years or more, it will change your life. You will see the growth. You will see the positivity. You're going to see the results. A quick reality check. It's boring. The real wealth creation is boring. It takes time. It's slow at first, right? But it becomes exponential later. It multiplies. It compounds. It snowballs. Wealth is built quietly, and then boom, suddenly you see it, right? It multiplies. So just give it time. Be consistent. Don't forget that. Last but not least, if you take anything from this video, let it be this. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to do something. You need to start. So the call to action for this one is going to be start with step 1 today. It takes less than 30 minutes. It doesn't cost any money. Go to Google Sheets or whatever your free spreadsheet of choice is, or your template, wherever you want to get this. Build out the monthly budget, track your money. That's where everything begins. If you want to go deeper into investing and building wealth step by step, check out my other videos, and thanks for watching.